Hello, everyone. Yo, stream so much, maybe you have an addiction. I do. If you have a streaming schedule, go see a doctor. Yo. Oh, I did it too early. Hey, everybody. When is the next episode of Confinement? You're gonna have to be patient, fella. 'Cause I don't know when. It'll just be out. Hello, everybody. Hello, Silent Siren. Thank you for those pleasant vibes. He's flying straight into that big pattern. Yeah, dude. I drew that today. This angel. Just a big flaming angel. If you could read the text in there, you know, it says, "Hi, do not be afraid. Let's get this bread." I'll hit a dab. It wasn't a very hot dab because I am low energy right now. Well, maybe my energy will build during the stream and I can just dab so fucking hot I might accidentally nut crack in my head, you know, just like... What is happening right now, Bong? The universe is happening right now, bro. Can I have your permission to make Connor, Dr. Powers, and maybe the general guy in your game? Yeah, sure. Go ahead. You can use their likeness in a game. I won't get mad. As long as you credit the game. I mean, you credit me, of course, in your game. Yo, Bong, love you. Love you even more if you remember me. Of course, I remember you, Zek5. How you feeling, Bunga Kanga? A little bit tired. It's only 8 p.m. for me, but these headaches have been a bit rough. But that's how it is right now, you know? Anomalies. Hey, Bong, a long time no see. How have the live streams been going? They've been really vibes. You know, I haven't had a bad stream, like, by my standard. Just sort of accepting everything. You know, it's just nice. It's nice and chill. It's not even 11 a.m. and I'm already drained. It'd be like that some days, you know? What are your thoughts on returning the monkey? I need to know. I think that'll probably be a benefit to us all. Hey Bung, what's your favorite crab? Also hope you get over your headache soon. Thank you, Prof. Favorite crab, eh? I think, you know those Japanese ones with the really long legs? Those ones are pretty funny. Just because of the little balancing act they do in the ocean, just looks kind of goofy. How much weed you've been smoking, Monkey Man? I have, not before the stream, no. I'm just tired. That drawing is a biblically accurate angel. Yeah, exactly. I love those versions. You are cute. Thank you, Catman. Who the monkey on the top left? Whoa, hey, why you roasting? Thanks for noticing me. Hope you have a good frickin' day. No worries, Maddie. You keep being noticed. Is there a reason for the stream, or is it just a chat? Hey, that's a reason. Chatting is the reason. Rip vibing alien. Yeah, he kind of gone right now. Why am I still alive? Asked Dr. Scribb. I don't know, I guess that's what you're here to find out. What time is it there? It's 8 p.m. It's not very late. Your forehead is bigger than my TV screen. It do be kind of true though. Look at that, it's so shiny. Got the shiny bulb head. No, I didn't mean you big stinker. I meant the gif above the iconic couple. Who is the new monkey? I don't know, but he's really vibing with that dog. The dog looks a bit nervous though. What do you do to practice your drawing skills? I simply draw. You just keep doing it. You have to be very forgiving and very patient with yourself, but as you just have to do it. That's all you need to do, you know? It doesn't matter if the melody is off as long as you keep the pace up. It's one of my favorite sayings. You have to really just like be okay with making mistakes. That's how you draw. You just keep doing that, keep doing that, keep doing that. And as a kid, if you were like inclined to draw as a child, as a very little kid with very little taste, you end up learning that quite early because you're not so judgmental as a little kid, you know? You're just like, I'm just drawing, I might draw it a little differently. And you just do that over and over again, just like raw, pure mistake making. Because in that mindset, you don't have it. There aren't any mistakes. And then by the time you get older and you start getting judgment and taste, you've already sort of been going in that direction of whatever you prefer. So yeah. Which kind of goes to show that even before you have the ability to sort of discern and judge on a really intense level, you actually end up making the most progress with artwork. Hey, Bung, you're looking great right now. Thank you. Bring back Bung Chronicles. I missed them too. Who are you? I don't know, Axel. I'll find out one day. I've always judged my art, and from my perspective, if my art was my trophy at the end of my race, I'd walk backwards. If my art was my trophy at the end of my race, I'd walk backwards. Huh. Not really sure what that means. Does that mean you wouldn't accept your trophy? What are you saying? I'm gonna drink lava lamp blobs. You go do that, Raiden. Although turn the lava lamp off for a while first, because it'll be really hot. This is a beautiful morning, especially with that sun on that ship shining on me. Aww. Bless. What's up, baby? What's up, some guy? What's up, baby? Hey, Bung, do you remember me? It's me, Sarah the singer, from when we watched that SCP movie, Surf's Up. I remember you. Yeah, you got a good voice, Sarah. I'm saying it so bad I wouldn't want it. Ah, yeah, okay, I see. Well, naturally you are gonna feel that way about your artwork. That doesn't mean it's true, though. That doesn't mean it's objectively bad, it just means you feel that way about it. I would suggest continuing to draw. And I think you'll grow to accept that this is how you draw. You know, no matter what stage you're in your drawing, this is just how you draw. And that's fine. How's your Instagram? How's my Instagram? Let me check how my Instagram is actually. There are some funny memes on Instagram. Oh, you're getting some art. Sorry, I'm just looking at art that people have tagged me on Instagram. I got distracted pretty easily. Have you considered making a Discord server? Yeah, there's one already made. I think people judge their art based on themselves in a way. Where they think that they want certain people to like their art, you know? If that's your goal, if you want certain people to like your art, then you're never really going to be making art. You're just going to be making... well, you're going to be making maybe gifts for people. You'll just be giving things for very certain people. Or if you want everybody to like your art, you're going to suffer. If you want certain people to like your art, you're going to suffer. That's not the reason to make art, you know? Just make the art, you know, with no goal, no finale, no ending to it. I just started drawing this piece over here, and I just kept going. And now it looks like this, and I really dig it. And now I'm showing people, you know? What's the Discord server link? I'll see if there's I'll see if anybody's online to give it to you. I judge my art based on how I'm feeling at the moment. Yeah, that's it. That's how you do. That's how it really is, you know? What are your thoughts on please? Chicken with gun, I don't know what to tell you there. I don't know what to tell you. Kinda reminds me of Nirvana's Nevermind album cover. Oh, let me check that out. Really? The baby? I mean, I guess it's blue. Fair enough. Good night. It's 10 minutes away from 3, so I'm gonna go sleep. Alright, good night, Maddie. What does Connor like, Pepsi or Coke? I don't know if they'd have either in the facility. That'll be kinda... Oh no, they probably do have Coke, because I did mention Coke in the series, didn't I? Yeah, okay, they have Coke. They probably just have Diet Coke or something. I don't usually tune in the streams, but this is really cool. You're pretty chill, Bong. Thank you. Yeah, I try to keep it chill in here. I'm here, sorry for being late. All good, Tropic Snakey. I just kind of like started stream without telling anyone, so it's kind of my fault. Connor versus Ronald Reagan. What city look nice? Oh, a lot of cities look nice, actually. I would like to visit Ankara one day in Turkey, or Istanbul. Maybe Glasgow, London. They all look pretty nice. Amsterdam, I'd love to. Belgium, Belgium's a country, but Brussels. I would love to visit Brussels. That looks cute as fuck. Loving the orangutan gifts. Orangutans are better than humans in every shape and form. Glad you're spreading the good word. They truly are magnificent. Seeing them must be such a mindfuck for people who have never seen any ape, outside of humans. Because it's almost like it's breaking down the barrier between animals and people, Just like, wow, wait a minute. Bro, that image is making me trip balls, dude. Good. I notice, at least for me, there are some visual illusions when I look at this image. Like, it kind of moves for me. Kind of like those optical illusion pieces. Bung just wants to hit up Amsterdam so he can become Lord Bong, King of Weed. Alright, you got me there, but yeah, that too. Where's the spaceship headed to? It's not about where it's headed to. It's just about the journey. And I don't know, maybe a black hole or something. But that's fine. Orangutan. A tank made of orangutans. This could be an SCP. Yeah, it could. Connor versus Nikita Khrushchev. Connor competes for the seat of General Secretariat after Stalin's death. Hello, Bill. I'm not sure if you remember me, but we spoke a while back on a previous live stream of yours. Hello, Malthius. I'm not really sure I remember you, but welcome to the stream. It's me, the guy to convince you to download your Instagram again. Oh, I have the Instagram, and I have it downloaded as well. Connor versus Jimin from BTS. Oy. Ugh. Looks like the image equivalent of existential crisis. It can be, if you consider it a crisis to have your existence played with. I mean, it's only a crisis if you already believe you're in control of your life. Or in control in general. Otherwise, it's just a thing that happens, And that's fine. Things happen all the time. Can we all shout out the orangutan couple? I mean, I'm playing the GIF on loop. This is the most orangutan shout out anyone can really give at the moment, unless you look up one of those streams, which is just like orangutan live stream. That'll probably be better than this, actually. You have so much more to learn from them. You could learn so much from these little guys. What if Conan is actually an entity from another realm that accidentally passed through time and space but then got stuck in ours and is suffering because of our realm? Could be that. Certainly feels that way sometimes. Yo, is life smooth for now? For now, yeah. For now. But it always has its bumps throughout the day. Some days more than others, But you can only progress slowly. Which orangutan turns to coconut theft. Yo, they're gonna steal a coconut? Bung, can I have some advice with finding motivation to draw? My best advice is to stop talking about motivation as if it were an external thing that you can get and lose. Because that reinforces what a part of you wants, which is to not draw. A part of you doesn't want to draw, and a part of you wants to draw. It's as simple as that. And it's up to you to find out if the part of you that doesn't want to draw is doing it out of fear or some kind of intense judgment about yourself. So instead of trying to just think about it or trying to like argue your way into drawing, or you can just do it. If you simply do draw without thinking, without constantly trying to find where you're at in terms of can I draw or not, you can just do it. It's really simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. It requires you to not think about it as you're doing it. You can even trick yourself into doing it. You could be like, all right, I'll just draw this one thing, and then you start, and then you just keep going as soon as you get the momentum. If you don't think about it, you end up doing it. And drawing isn't about thinking. It's absolutely not about thinking. It's literally just about feeling. You are drawing. You're trying to draw what you think is in your mind, and then sometimes it's not what it looks like. Most of the time it wouldn't be what it looks like. And then you just sort of work with it. You are just compromising the whole time. It's a compromise between you, a positive compromise, a healthy back and forth between you and the drawing. You know, you draw a line, you go, it wasn't meant to look like that, but that's fine, I'll just keep going. And you just keep going. Because if you're doing any activity, and for the majority of the activity you're going, no, shit, fuck, no, I made a mistake, no, fuck, oh, I need to get better at this, man, I suck, then of course it's going to be a bad time, because you're just you're just dedicating time to shitting on yourself, you know? You have to learn to be accepting and patient. And it's really difficult, but the only way to do that is to simply do it without thinking. Thinking is what stops you from doing things, you know? And we think, oh, well, I'll outsmart my brain. I'll think my way into doing things. And, you know, and you bargain with yourself and you give yourselves all these promises. And you can just do things without thinking. And that doesn't mean suppress thinking. That doesn't mean you're trying to kick down, like, thoughts that come up. It just means you don't take your thoughts so seriously. A thought comes up that says, this is stupid, you shouldn't be drawing, your drawings are ugly. Just don't take it very seriously, because it's just a thought. It's a thought, it's just any other sound in the universe, you know? Like you hear a bird outside, it doesn't mean anything, it just means there's a bird outside. Where are you from? I'm from Australia. Head empty, perfect drawing condition. Absolutely. It's like when you dance, or when you play an instrument, or when you sing, you aren't thinking the whole time. And if you are, you're having a bad time, you know? What do you think about the current view counts on the confinement vids? Happy with the success? I mean, I like that people are seeing it, you know? I'm not doing it for the views, but it's cool, I guess. Is the Discord server link posted somewhere? Oh, sorry. Hey, Tropic Snakey, if you're listening, can you post the Discord link in the chat? Thank you. I was curious if you read the comic Gunnar Krieg Court. No, I haven't heard of that one, sorry. I lived my entire life without thinking, oh, it should be easy. People seem to think that thinking is a very specific thing, or that thinking is everything that goes on in their head. It's not, it's just the only tangible thing, I guess, that's going on in your head. In terms of, like, thinking is just a bunch of symbols that you can recognize, that other people have introduced to you, if that's what you want to describe thinking as. It's just using the symbols that we were taught growing up, whether by people or by just being in nature. Thinking is almost like a hyper-focused version of whatever your mind naturally does, which is existing, reacting, being creative, forming, and then thinking is like the solid product of that. So in one way you can say that is that thinking is your mind taking itself seriously. And you don't have to take it seriously. You can get through the day without saying words out loud in your head to remind you to do things, you know? I mean, there are, of course, like, exceptions with, like, very specific human problems, like math problems maybe you need to do. Maybe you need to work out a bill or something, and then you could use your thinking there, obviously, you know? What the hell are you talking about? You weren't listening? Maybe I wasn't explaining very well. My levels of cognitive activity and self-awareness are highest when engaging in creative activity, otherwise I am extremely subconscious. Interesting. Is it too early for Christmas songs? Depends where you're from, you know? In the Philippines, we start quite early. I say we, my mom is from the Philippines. So she's already put up her decorations. I've already put up my decorations too. But I'm celebrating Yule and Bodhi Day as well. So many times I see non-artists or newbie artists hate their style when it's actually so charming or interesting or something unique to them. Don't give up hope, continue to refine your style, enjoy it. Absolutely, Silent Siren. That's 100% true. Maybe the Discord is a Patreon exclusive. Nah, it's all good. Snakey will get you the thingy. Real quick. Just showing what the hell he's talking about, Bung. Well, you know, vibrant nothingness. Are we vibing though? If you want to, it's up to you. Hey, it's okay, y'all. Have a good day and take care of yourself. Find someone to hug and find something to smile about. Hell yeah. People are afraid of nothingness, you know? People really, really don't want to consider that, like they need an excuse to do nothing, you know? They need a dedicated day to have a day off and relax. They need and then when you lay down and you're in the quiet, you're just trying to stay still and relax, suddenly out of that silence, all of the thoughts come in, and it's just like, it's almost like it's overcompensating for all the stillness that's going on. Why is that, you know? And my theory is that from nothingness, you know, a lot of this shit just sort of explodes out of it, you know, like when an artist is looking at a blank page, they suddenly get all these ideas for how to draw. I'm just speaking from my own experience, but also that's just sort of art, you know what I mean? Your voice is soothing as fuck. Thank you. Bun, can you say monkey, please? Monkey. Are you hyped for Funny Monkey Friday? Always. Always. If the algorithm didn't show me confinement, I probably would have never found out your channel. I'm glad I did. Your work is amazing, really entertaining during the pandemic. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoy it. Discombobulated. Whoa. What's that? SCP Foundation has Coke and Popsy, and maybe Kirk's, I think. Yeah, I talking like off-brand Coke and Pepsi, like. Watch out, boys. Here's the newest VTuber on the block. No, I'm not a VTuber. This is my face. This is my normal 3D sweaty face. You have become my comfort streamer from now on. Oh. I appreciate that, but don't get too attached, you know? I understand that during these times it's very easy to get addicted to things. Hope you're having a fantastic day, friendo. Thank you, Lish. I hope you are too. I mean, do what you want. If this is what you need right now, is a comfort streamer, and if I'm a comfort streamer, then I appreciate it. I have lots of streams you could look back on if you ever get bored, I guess, or if you just want to chill out. But chilling is just like chilling is interesting because you can be in the same place, the same level of energy as if you were chill, but if you didn't want to be chill, you'd just feel like you were depressed, or you'd feel like you were tired. I've been thinking about that a lot today, about how this sickness, the fatigue that I'm getting from this sickness, sometimes makes me think that I'm depressed because I used to be quite depressed, and the symptoms are basically the same. Like, I just want to stay in bed all day, and because I don't understand why, I would think that it was because I was depressed, and because I'm tired, and because I feel like I need to do things and yet can't do them. I feel like I'm having such a terrible time and that I'm a failure or something, you know. And I'm essentially doing the same thing as just chilling, except because my expectations are different, I'm unhappy. And that's an interesting thing. It kind of just sort of helps show you how things are structured, that there is no objective reality, there is just what we are projecting into our lives, you know? Like, what is happening to our body, and what is happening in our mind, and what is happening in our expectations, when they're not aligned, or when they don't understand each other, we have such a terrible time. But, you know, when I figure out that, like, oh, I'm sick, that's why I'm tired, suddenly I'm chilling now, because it's all good, you know? Where is this streaming? YouTube. Just YouTube. It's a little hard to believe the Infinite IQ was posted over a year ago. Yeah, I think so. I think that's true. I don't remember. Probably is though. Say Makarov is ugly, please. But Makarov isn't ugly. I don't know what they look like, but I'm sure they're just fine. Alright, there's a Discord link. Yes, monkey. Anyone else experienced that YouTube outage today? It was enough. Yeah, wasn't able to look at my my funny little videos in the morning. What a terrible day. I have to do a graphic design project for class, so I'm making a biology pamphlet about Bigfoot as if it was real. Do you have any Bigfoot fun facts? Yeah, some people think that Bigfoot could be a Gigantopithecus from the, I don't know, Eocene or the Pleistocene or something, some early mammal era. That's always a fun idea to me, you know? Just like somewhere else there was a really big monkey that didn't quite go extinct. Hope everyone is having an amazing day or night. Thank you. Thank you, Sir Faraz. Continue playing music, please. I know that you got this question a lot, but do you have an approximate deadline set for episode 8? Sorry, I'm just making it. I'm just making it a day at a time. Day by day. Moist monkey. You really want me to say moist monkey? Uh, Kale Wu, good luck with your exam, your bio exam tomorrow. Go learn about all of that all that biology. Presumably, I don't know actually what you're doing. I'm feeling depressed too, and I understand the feeling of feeling empty and not really having a motive to live, but have time push forward and prove that the impossible is possible. Yeah, I feel that. I mean, you continue to prove to yourself that you are worth it just by existing. Which kind of just shows you what the remote control to your mind is. It's your actions. So, if you're feeling pretty shitty about yourself, but you do things for yourself because you know that you love yourself deep down, if you're doing nice things for yourself, things that show that you actually don't hate yourself that much, and you just keep incrementally doing things like that, you end up getting better. It's only this narrative that you've created to hate yourself that is countering that. And it is a really big and a very convincing narrative, especially if you view the world as this mechanical thing that either works or doesn't, and you've labeled yourself in the doesn't category. But if you looked at the world in a way where you acknowledge that everything is just the way that it is, without any labels like good or bad, or working or not working, or fixed or broken, or anything like that, you don't need to be labeling the world like that, especially if you're depressed. Eating healthy and exercises combat the self-love it. Yeah, it's true. That's one way of doing it. There are other subtle ways of doing it, especially if your problems are different to just having an unhealthy body, because a lot of people have healthy bodies and they're unhappy. Or some people have chronic issues that give them a hard time doing certain workouts. Bung, as great as you are, you're not a cute anime girl VTuber. Convince me why I should stay here instead of going and simping. You gotta go simp. You gotta go sync, bro. You please. I bless you on your journey. I hope that you may simp so hard and spend so much money. Who's the voice actor of Mrs. Powers, Natalie? That would be Jimo Dawn or SCP Readings. You can find them on YouTube. Laying in bed and getting some wicked life advice. Oh, thank you. Sorry, people, I speak Portuguese from Brazil. It's hard writing English. I was trying to say eating healthy and working out helps combat depression. Yeah, I got you. I totally get that. And it is true for the most part, But obviously there are other reasons why people could be depressed, and it's all about finding out for yourself, honestly, through introspection and just being in the moment, not thinking too much about the future or the past. And that includes what's going on inside your mind. You don't think too much about what this may mean in the future if you do this, or what this means in the past. You just simply pay attention to yourself in the moment. Bad things happen, good things happen, and you end up learning. You really don't have to think about it. It sinks in. Our brains are insanely powerful, and we think we have to be supervising our brains so much. We don't really. You remember things you need to remember, and they come up perfectly when you're calm. If you are panicked, then things get clogged up and you don't end up remembering things. But if you're calm, you actually end up, your association between this and that, all the relevant things that you need to remember at the moment of it happening come up much smoother and much faster, and when your mind is silent, because it isn't getting clogged up by all of these things that you suddenly think are irrelevant. if you're caught up in your own story, then you aren't listening to what's happening in the world. You aren't listening to the people around you or the events around you and what it may mean. And then all of a sudden, you know, your house is on fire, and because you were too busy stuck inside your head instead of looking at the cooking that you left on the stove because you're having some panic attack about something completely irrelevant that you've made relevant by bringing yourself towards it. Not gonna lie, I watched Confinement to calm down after panic attacks and sensory overloads. Thanks for making this series, mate. Oh. I mean, I'm sorry that you have panic attacks to begin with, but because they suck, I know what they're like. Thank you. I'm glad that you find my show to be relaxing. I want to engage, but I'm kind of space right now. Maybe next time. You have a good time being space. Yeah, this is the best life advice I've heard in a while. I might not struggle with depression or any crappy stuff like that. It still feels good to listen to this. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's like I mean, none of this is like new information, what I'm giving. And I'm not saying that to try and be condescending. What I mean is, these are just inner things that we all have tested out and we all know to be true. We just kind of forget quite a lot, you know? When things work out for us and we end up being quite calm. Let's say we had an extremely emotional moment and then right after, for whatever reason, we were calm and things just kind of went well. It's just moments like that, you know? When your perspective gets sort of shattered and you're able to do things easily because you realize it's not really that big a deal. I don't know where I am, but I know I don't like it. Okay? Well, you could leave. It's up to you. You have that control in your life. Just feel sorry for all the people who are being forced to stay here. There are not many comments like mine I noticed, but I really love your work. Thank you, Maddie Blocked YouTube. Bung the next Alan Watts. Oh, fuck, I wish. Yeah, he and I have the same problem of really liking the sound of our own voice. It's probably the only thing we have in common. I mean, I do consider myself a Buddhist. I really do like listening to Alan Watts, though. Some days he's like my favorite. You're up early. No, it's like 8:51 p.m. It's pretty late, actually. I want a multitude of mega moist monkey Mondays. Damn. Conan versus eggplant. For some reason, my brain decided to make me thinking about cosplaying Stanley in a maid dress at 3 a.m. Yeah, I think that needs to happen now. I don't make the rules, you did just now. I have mental breakdowns frequently, so much to the point of where I imagine dark shadowy figures staring at me as if they are judging. Yeah, I heard about this with, I have a couple of friends who have neurodivergencies who, almost make that happen literally. Yeah, that's fucking rough. But, I think people who have neurodivergencies like that end up understanding how the universe works a lot more intimately than people who are quote unquote normal. Because it's almost like the rules are broken more often, the rules for how reality supposedly is. And so you understand that it is all in your head. But if you don't accept that, but if you still believe that there is a right way and wrong way of living, then of course you're going to feel like you're broken and that there's something wrong with you, and that every time these events happen, you're trying to fight against it, and without realizing that fighting against it makes it stronger. you know? If you're trying to push something away emotionally, if you're trying to push a thought away, it'll only keep coming back because it's a thought. It's just up there. You can't physically move it. However, if you accept it and let it go, that's the way to do it. That's the way. It'll be like smoothing out water really gently and calmly, or just not doing anything. Like when you're in the water and you're trying to make the water calm, you don't push the water to calmness. You don't smash it to calmness. You don't flatten it. You just wait, and it goes away. You just acknowledge that it's moving, and then you wait. You stop, and then you wait, and it goes away. It's the same with thoughts and emotions. They're gonna come and they're gonna go anyway. The only reason they stay longer is if we're trying to fight them, or if we're trying to push them away, or if we're trying to engage with them. Can you show us your pinky? Here's my pinky. Here's my other pinky. Different colored nails. Have you not died in space? When's the last time you ate? Oh, bro. I have... This baby's got a lot of energon in this bad boy. Hey Bong, this is my second stream that I've caught live. Hope you're having a great day. Thank you. I just got home from work and I needed to hear this kind of sage advice today, man. I'm glad. It's true. I mean, we have this tendency to control things, and we think we can only get through life through controlling. And it's this terrible mindset that only really works if in a competitive society, which of course we live in one. And that's why they want you to think that way, is because that's how the society works. So it becomes like the example for how we should live. It's almost like the way things are run become the new ethos, the new like God that we are taking inspiration from in our own lives, which is completely inconsistent with our health. You know, you just need to calm down. You simply need to put yourself in a position of calming down, and then you can make decisions when you're calm. And I'm not gonna tell you how to calm down. It's all up to you. This is your own method of calming down. A lot of people like to breathe. A lot of people, well, specifically focus on your breath. Just breathe naturally and focus on your breath, because your breath works in this amazing way where it is going on by itself, whether you like it or not. And if you focus on it, it'll become a bit easier. You know, we're just sort of breathing, we focus on it, we realize, oh, I'm not actually controlling this. What else am I not controlling? You know, the line between what you control and what controls you becomes blurred until you realize that it's actually the same thing. That everything is moving of its own accord, and that you could be looking at every cell in your body and going like, okay, but which one's me? And you realize there is no me. Things are just happening in front of you. Things are just happening inside of you, behind you, above you, below you. There is no you. Things are just happening. We've decided that this is a you so that we can assign blame in a community, or so that we could just assign in general. We can do all of these things. I like the way your hot nose is shaped. It's built so well. Your mother is a great woman for making such a beautiful specimen like Lou. You're a very pretty man. Thank you for that very forward comment. I truly do appreciate that. This is a chaotic overlay. Yeah, I know. It's very chaotic. It's definitely on purpose. I have a lot of paranoia. Whenever I'm home alone, I think something is in the house or something. Before my mom goes to work, sometimes I open all the doors just to feel safe. I understand that feeling. I used to do that a lot. Yeah, I used to go around every time I would come home, and if I was like the first one to come home and the house was empty, I would walk around the house with a little knife that I just get from the kitchen, just like, oh, who's in here? Like, legitimately, I was that anxious. Any thoughts on Alan Watts? I love him so much. He's a cool guy. I mean, he's just a person. I'm not worshipping him, but I really do enjoy his lectures. Yeah, paranoia. It comes from well, paranoia and anxiety in general comes from as Alan Watts puts it, actually, a distinct lack of trust in yourself. Like, you do not trust yourself. So you go ahead and make the decision that implies that you don't trust yourself anyway. Or that you don't trust the universe in some way. But it is not trusting yourself. By extension. Because you need, if you need to have visual proof in front of you every time you go ahead and do anything, you are going to have a very hard time, because in reality, most people don't gather proof when they do things. So if you're telling yourself, well, now I need proof, you know, that's a big one. And it never really satisfies you, you know? It might satisfy you to a degree where you can calm yourself down. Sorry, I was reading a comment. I'm in a constant state of movement and chaos, and the only way I could calm down is just to forget the problem with that is there's no way of knowing you forget. No, but you know the direction that you go to forget, which is you focus on something else. And then you forget. If you sincerely just focus on something else as if it was more interesting, you know, it works. You just end up drawing your attention. And your anxiety will want you to remember what it was you were thinking of, because it'll try and convince you, no, this is important, you have to listen. But it's not. It never is. It's never that important. It's never that important that you waste your day being anxious. You know, it's never that important that you just sit there, your big hairless ape just sits there and goes back and forth between two thoughts, zzz, like that. Nothing is that important. You know? Alright, I see you, Lord of Bungus. I'm gonna go decide what to do today. Stay safe and hope we can talk soon. Alright, good night, Midnight Plays. Ooh. It's 9 p.m. To some people it might be a little extra. Maybe I just watched too many horror movies or the news, but it's honestly terrifying knowing that something can go bad very fast. Well, it's the truth. Knowing that, I mean, it's terrifying to indulge in that thought, to just like really go into it and just really like try and apply it to yourself in every way possible. Yeah, of course, it's very stressful. But you can always acknowledge something, surface level, and then just keep on going. You know, you don't have to draw your attention to it just because it causes an emotional reaction. But you can't ignore it at the same time. You know, you have to find that balance. The balance between indulging and ignoring, which is just acknowledging. You just acknowledge that it exists. But I can't take this anymore. There's no point in living. Even if I do once I die, it will all be gone. There's no point in living. Even if I do once I die, it will all be gone. Well, that's only because you believe there needs to be a point. There doesn't need to be a point. I mean, what was the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Universe? So many people didn't seem to get the message of it, is that there is no meaning to the universe. That's why the answer was 42, because it didn't make sense. The question itself didn't make sense. It was such an important lesson in the movie that people actually think, oh, it's funny that the message is just 42, it's just random. It's like, no, it's not random. The point of that was that the question was stupid. There is no meaning of the universe. So with that in mind, you can just enjoy every second of it. Because every second is yours second. Every second of the day is yours. It's real, it's happening. And you can just enjoy it, if you want. I'm gonna reestablish the Ottoman Empire. You go ahead and do that. They actually didn't crash. They were the only empire that didn't get destroyed. They just gave up. Episode 8 will be out when it's out. I don't know what else to say. Hope you're doing well, Bong. Thank you, Extreme Blitz. Hope you are too. If there is no meaning in the universe and I have no meaning of existence, well, you don't have to have meaning. It's fine. You can still have a good time and not have meaning. Whether you like it or not, you create meaning. That's what humans do. We create meaning. So instead of trying to create one gigantic utopia to rely on and feel comfortable in, you can just create one step at a time. You can just create the step in front of you, and then you take that step, and the next day you take another step. That's all. You know? Just exist. The universe doesn't need to have meaning. The universe isn't trying to show you anything. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to put meaning onto the universe. You know? That's just our habit. You can just do. You can just be. Just exist. Doesn't that just liberate you from all the responsibilities that you feel like you need to do or else you'll die? It's all good. The Shrek musical. Oh, that was an at you were talking to. But I don't want to live unless I am needed for something. Well then, that's your own problem. You will find a way. I believe that you'll find a way. You just set yourself your own meaning. You see, you're already externalizing your self-worth. You say that you can only find meaning in somebody else. You can do things for yourself. You are worth it. You are enough. You have just enough. Just like everybody else. Everybody is just enough. You just do. Do things for yourself. Do things for others. Help people. If you feel like you need to do things for other people, then help them. Feed the poor. You know? Donate to charities with good transparency and help people near you. You don't have to choose specific people. You don't have to be like, oh, which charity is the best one of all of them? I need to make sure it's perfect. You don't. Just do it. Just be. Just exist. Do kindness. I find funny to look for this big meaning in the universe when you can apply your own meaning to things in life. Exactly, Pinely. Thank you. You just apply whatever you want. It's just a program up here. You can decide where to aim the compass at in your programming. You can decide where to go. And as long as you acknowledge that it's just a program and there's nothing that you need to take so seriously, you'll be having a great time. I guarantee. How would you / feel do if a global warming apocalypse happens tomorrow? I'm not really sure how much you know about climate change. If I get it, it's a hypothetical. If the world ended tomorrow because of corporate greed, I don't know, I'd probably just like get really, really fucking high with my friends and then die. What difference makes one? Nothing, but I'll make an example. Look at charities. $1 doesn't make a difference, but if many people donate $1, it is a big difference. Yeah. And a big difference, little difference, what difference does it make if you think that way anyway? As long as there's a difference, you know? That's what we need. We need the challenge. We need the obstacle, because the obstacle is the path. Like, people talk about like they're going through their path in life. Like, oh, I'm going through my path in life, but there's all these obstacles in the way. It's like, no, the obstacles are the path. You getting through them is the path. You know? It wouldn't be worth it if it was easy. I mean, it wouldn't be worth it if it was... Yeah, it wouldn't be worth it if it was easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. You know, life. How did you get Bionic Pick to sing that Playing With Myself song? Because we're friends. We're mutuals, at least. Monkey strong together. Hope you don't mind if I play in the background while I listen to this existential philosophy lesson. You go ahead. Okay, but I am a giraffe and I'm happy. Good on you. How would you feel if some alien race invaded Earth tomorrow? That would be very exciting. That'll be a real consciousness boost for people, I think. Because you just wouldn't be thinking like that you're the center of the universe anymore. Although I imagine a lot of people would act hostile to it. You know? Just because they wouldn't be able to accept that truth. If it was the truth, you know, if there were like civilized aliens out there. It'll be such a mindfuck because, you know, what are the odds of them being the exact same level of consciousness as us? Would they be looking down on us in some kind of level where, like in the same way we might look at ants, where we don't even acknowledge they exist? Like every now and then an alien being from like some 6-dimensional plane will just pop in and be like, oh look, there's another one of those things with lungs, you know? It's actually quite cool. We can find the meaning in the smallest of things, whether it's drawing stuff, having a family, or just chilling with friends. Yeah. It's like we're all looking for the same thing. It's just that we apply it to different objects in the universe, you know? You can find the same amount of fulfillment from all sorts of things. Like, I was talking to this today with a friend. When you fall in love with somebody and then they leave or they die or, you know, they change in some way, and you feel absolutely heartbroken because you think that the love was taken away from you, that it was only in that person that you could feel love. No, the love is in you. These feelings are inside of you. They can just be activated. It's just a program. And I don't mean to make it sound cynical. That's a beautiful thing. It means that you have the fun game of just finding out how to do it. And the calmer you are, the less intense you're looking for that feeling, the easier it is to find. Because it's a pleasant feeling. It's not an intense, anxious, negative feeling. Although it can cause anxiety, I guess. It'll be a bit disappointing if we discover aliens and they're just a bunch of fish or something. Yeah, just like unintelligent life. I don't know, I'd still be happy with that. I played Mass Effect. If aliens would invade Earth, I'm gonna try and flirt with them. Yeah, I mean, like, why not? Bro, you're a philosopher. I mean, I think anyone can be. I'm not, like, academically a philosopher. And I certainly don't call myself one just because it sounds really, you know? It sounds kind of silly. I really shouldn't be caring about that, how silly it sounds. Thoughts about transparent dreams, anyone? Transparent dreams? I don't know what that's supposed to be. Let me just Google that. Sounds cool. No, they're not really, there aren't really anything popping up from that. I mentioned that I've been picturing you as Connor until now and I need to adjust the face cam. Yeah, you do what you need to do. Why are the monkeys in the corner holding hands? Because they're dating. Yo, that angel kind of looks like Mung Da, I'm not gonna lie. It's just blue. I guess this is one of those pictures where you kind of just see what you want to see almost. Lord and Savior, SCP-173. Any updates about the accident happened with your, was it leg? It was my coccyx in my ass. But it is all good now. Are you high or just tired? I'm mostly just tired. Can you do Mongdal impression? No, I don't think I can. I don't think I can. I've tried. When you accept that you can create the meaning in your own life, then you accept that your life is yours. You accept that the universe is yours. Because it is. I mean, nobody owns it, so it might as well be you. And that doesn't mean, of course, that other people aren't real. Everybody else feels the exact same way, and everybody else is just as valid as you. You acknowledge that since there is no you, so to speak, that everything is simply happening, then there are no other people, there are just people. There are just trees, there are just rocks, there are no separate entities. Everything is just one superorganism of events, you know, of shapes, and colors, and shading. Things just happening on that level visually. Then there are sound waves. Things just have different frequencies, and decibels, and pitches. Then there are the sensation of feeling, which is completely in your brain. I mean, things are simply happening, and we separate them so that we can control the world in a certain way. It's just when we categorize things, when we feel the need to categorize things, that's just our need to control things. It's fine, it's a natural chronic thing that we all seem to have, you know, especially if you're raised in this kind of society. But you don't have to, you know? The world wants to keep you on edge. The world wants to keep you in this mindset of being so stressed out that you're always angry and separating yourself from the rest of the world, and suddenly you're fighting against the world, and the world is against you, and you have to make an impact on this world that you feel that you aren't a part of. But you are a part of this world. You are the world, you know? Do you have a legit job? Yeah, I do. I work on the internet. I know a lot of people don't count that as a legit job, but I mean, I make money, I pay my bills, I pay my rent, I pay for things that I want. No one knows anything, they are just told and are convinced. Yeah, exactly. That just makes some people uncomfortable. So I try to approach in these ways that are like, you know, pleasant, calm. You know, because it simply is a perspective change. I'm not giving you anything new. I'm not giving you a new thing to apply to yourself. You are simply changing your perspective, if you want, I mean. It's just an invitation to just relax and not take things so seriously. And you'll find that things aren't exactly what you think they are. They could be many things. The same object could have many connotations if you feel like it. It certainly does when your life sort of shatters. If you have like a life-shattering moment, then suddenly the same object will have a different connotation. Because there is no objective, there is no essential truth in the universe. There is just the events that are happening and the meaning that you assign to things. It's completely up to you. Perspective of like half of everything. Perspective is like all of everything. Not to be semantic, it's just is everything and also nothing. It's something you can just tune into and make your entire life for just a second, and then you can tune out of it. It's something you can do anytime, and it really helps calm you down. I'm gonna have to listen to these more often, but I must go. Alright, see you later, Mooseless. If you burn money, would you be paying everyone who uses the same money? If you burn money, would you be paying everyone who uses the same money? I don't really know what that means. If you think about it, some person has an organ of a dead person. Is the dead person now part of the alive person? If you want it to be, again, it's your perspective. If you want to see things that way, where things are objectively owned, then yeah, you might see that. You might see it that way, but, you know, especially if you're, like, anal about copyright or something, you know? This is my copyrighted lung you're using. Or an organ transplant is a very perfect example that your body is not yours to begin with. It never was. It's not owned by you. Nothing is owned by you. You're not in control of anything. Things are just happening to you. Things are happening to you as much as you are happening to it, because they are both the same thing. Are you religious, Bun? Not particularly. Although I do dive into religion, but from a spiritual point of view. By that I mean I don't take it so seriously that I have to believe every single truth, every single aspect of it as truth. I choose the messages that, or I interpret the messages in a way that resonates with me, which is what everybody does anyway, except that I'm just, some people don't seem to acknowledge it. I'm on shrooms. Hey, Dr. Scrib. You be on shrooms. Have a good time. Stay hydrated. Kimi, you I organ, you drongo. I don't know about y'all, but this guy kind of sounds like the guy from that one SCP series. Edgy Egglord talks about life. What's edgy about me? What did I say? I'm objectively a lot less edgy than I used to be. I used to be a very edgy atheist. Does that mean that cancer cells aren't you? They just start putting their own survival above the collective? Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's exactly what they do. But everything is you. The cancer cell isn't specifically you. It isn't exclusively you. Everything is you. The whole idea of you and me in separate categories is just grammar. It's not objective reality. You know, we use grammar to try and understand reality in a way so that we can just communicate with each other. It has nothing to do with how reality actually works. It's just the way we're used to thinking. Like, language controls the way you think more than your grasp of reality. You know? You are brainwashed by the fact that you use a language to speak. That's as simple as that, because we're used to the idea of using our thoughts to organize everything in our head. And because we feel this need to organize things, and we feel this need to use words to organize them, because that's how we communicate with other people, we use it to ourselves. And we end up thinking like, oh, there is a separate me, and that I'm in control, and that if I'm not in control, it means I'm a failure, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's not true. Damn, my fleshlight is me. It is you. That fleshlight defines you. Just like the rest of the universe. Your interaction with your fleshlight, fucking don't want to go into it, but your interaction with that and everything that you own and everything that you run into throughout your day define your day. Define what happens. Because it happens. No one knows anything but the truth they accept. Exactly. Cancer cells evolving to be selfish inside of you. They're you, but rebelling. Jesus. It's fucked up. I'll be a really fucked up Osmosis Jones. Yeah, I made up Connor. So what's true language? There is no true language. Language takes us away from the truth. I'm just using language so we could explain, so that I could, because I like talking about this stuff. I like giving myself the challenge of being able to try and explain Zen to people. When Zen, if you go and talk to a Zen master, they won't waste your time trying to explain it, because they'll just tell you that they can't be explained. You simply can gather what it means through examples, through stories. So the same with Taoism. Like if you look at Taoism, if you look at the Tao Te Ching, it's simply a bunch of stories. And you kind of grok what the meaning is through reading these stories, but none of it explains it, you know? Bologna is just a hot dog pancake. Interesting. You don't get to choose what you understand. You don't even get to choose what music you like. Yeah, you don't really get to choose anything. But you don't have control over anything. You choose. You end up making decisions and you end up being spontaneous. But you don't choose it in that way. Language is an interface. Yeah. Do you believe in any conspiracy theories? Not really. I don't think I do, at least. Do you game at all? If so, what game do you play? Minecraft mostly right now. Have you watched the show Utopia? I think you might like it. I have seen a couple episodes of the newer Utopia. Hey Kyle, what's up? Do you meditate? Any techniques, or is it down to the individual? There are some pretty broad techniques that I use to help with my meditation classes. Well, I mean, that's a bit formal of me to say. I just do it in a Discord call with some friends and some patrons. Yeah, there are plenty. Because the whole idea of meditation is that there is no goal to it. So you have to let go of any idea of a goal, because that would stress you out. Anytime you apply expectations in your life, you increase your amount of stress, because you are going to be judging what you're doing right now based in relation to how far you are from that goal. So it is simply doing nothing, and you are going to fail, and that is okay. You are supposed to fail. Well, you're not supposed to, but you are going to fail constantly. You just have to keep forgiving yourself and going back to that nothingness. So a helpful technique is focusing on your breathing. So, you just breathe normally, and then you draw all of your attention to your breathing, and then eventually you're going to start thinking again, and then you're going to, there goes the thought, there I go, and then you come back to your breathing. And then you just keep doing that back and forth, and it's like an exercise. It's like you're exercising your ability to do nothing, which is very important for your mental health. All right, good night, Maddie Block. Only losers play Minecraft, wait. Yeah, you keep playing that Minecraft, cool. Please help, I'm addicted to breathing air. I do it every day. It's one of those habits that's really hard to break. You'll get there. Your pug never caught one of your streams before. Hey, well, they're mostly chill and they're actually ending in about 30 minutes. I deny the truth if it is bad, and I perceive it as something better. Well, maybe using the word deny will actually kind of negate it. Giving it a try and finding it hard to get into. Oh, I totally get you. I could come and help if you want. I really like guiding meditations. it's yeah, I mean, it's about like slowly reaching that state of stillness in whatever way you need to get there, you know. So focusing on breath is just the easiest because it's something that we all have. Most of us do, at least. You just breathe, and it's just a constant back and forth motion. And if you're focusing on it, and you slow down gradually as you focus on it and you relax, it really helps. It really helps. It's Brian McKenzie says that breathing is the remote control to the body. That includes the brain. You know, what's your relationship with super science friends? I'm friends with the director, I guess, or at least we know each other in a positive way. I haven't talked to him for a while. I should probably email him. I'd like to. Rather than breathing, I like to inhale Mountain Dew. Yeah, that's some powerful shit. That's a power move right there. If you inhale Mountain Dew in front of me and you just end up choking on the ground, I would still respect you. Do you see smiling friends? Yeah. I see my friends and I see them smiling sometimes. Don't think of a pink elephant. You got me there. Yeah. You see, that's what happens when you tell yourself, when you self-deprecate or use a negative connotation about your abilities, is that even if you're joking or even if you're implying that, like, I am not going to do this, you're going to end up doing it because you're just putting the thought in your head, just like what Vrv said about don't think of a pink elephant. That's what you're meant to learn from that, is that telling yourself not to do something is how you're going to end up doing it, because all you're doing is putting the thought in your head. And then the value attached to it, which will change, which is don't do it. It doesn't really matter, because if all you think of is, like, let's say I'm trying to get over smoking. If all you're thinking of is cigarettes, in the form of I will not smoke cigarettes, then you're probably going to end up smoking cigarettes, because it's just prevalent in your head. It's the symbol that shows up in your head, and you associate that symbol with a lot of things. Not just not smoking it, but I love smoking it, you know. What you do is you just focus on other things. And that doesn't mean pretend cigarettes don't exist. It just means don't spend your time thinking about them. You can acknowledge that they exist. I literally just thought this channel saw you live streaming. This channel saw you live streaming. I don't know what that means. Last weekend I did shrooms. At one stage a cat made me really angry at myself. A friend calmed me down and to talk to me about Taoism. Since then I felt really genuine in myself. Been nice since. Yeah, psychedelics are really fun because they smooth out your habits. They smooth out what you think are your habits, like what you think are really important, that you really need to cling on to. So if you're somebody who's really closed off and just like absolutely attached to your habits and the things that you do every day, the psychedelics will essentially show you that they're not that important. Continue trying meditation, I'll let you know. Sure, bro. But I'm more than happy to help give guided meditation. I think it's best to find something to distract. Like people often say, stop smoking, you find a new addiction. Yeah, I mean, throughout your day you are just doing things anyway, and you're going to feel the need to do things. And if you feel the need to do things on such an intense level, then you're going to be wanting to do these really insane things, like hurting your body through smoking or drinking, etc. If you slow down, if you teach yourself to slow down, then you wouldn't feel such strong emotions that require instant gratification. That's where addiction comes from. It's just like the opposite end of stillness. It's like addiction, obsession, compulsion. Getting stuck in a cycle, going back and forth between two different thoughts. In reality, you don't need to be living that way. That's just one way of living. Ralph, no, like fascistism. Me neither. What is your race and gender? I am a mestizo Filipino German who lives in Australia. My gender, I'm not really sure. I'm just gonna say man for now. I don't really mind. Doesn't really bother me. Do you do all the animating by yourself? No, I have a co-animator. Life is all... Shrek the musical. Thank you. Life is all perception. If you perceive it as meaningless, it will be meaningless. We give it meaning by pursuing our own goals. Exactly, yeah. But don't get obsessed with your goals, because then your life will go from meaningful to meaningless in such an intense degree. Just have goals. Don't take any of your goals that seriously. If you fail, it's fine. It's okay. That's how you learn. And you'll find another goal. You always will. You will always find another thing to do. Just keep reminding yourself that. Guys, the cat is floating and saying this body limits my power. No joke, I used to have a legitimate addiction to Minecraft. I have a 2k hours in Hyperpixel and a 10k hours overall in my regular servers, not including massive single player worlds and realms and stuff. Hey, it all happens to us, you know? It's literally... it's such a somewhat socially acceptable addiction, compared to drugs at least, that it's happening to so many people. And I don't mean to say that to be depressing, I mean, like, it just happens, you know? It's fine. You don't, and I'm glad that, I'm happy for you that you're not still there. When I started high school, I started working out, and now that's a new but healthy addiction. Yeah, I mean, that's a step in the right direction, I bet. This is very vibrant. I'm glad. Riftix. My friend in high school showed it to me. That's about it, though. He just thought it was cool. I thought it was cool. It was our thing for a while, and I just forgot about it. And a few years later, here we are. It's also never bad to try something new too. The goal you may try to reach is something you may not even want down the road. You take and it changes over time. Absolutely. It's absolutely true. Want to hear something? Everyone is legal because we are billions of years old and made from the matter that we made by Big Bang. Matter cannot be created and destroyed. Well, I'm not sure I like how you worded that. That everyone is legal pot. You shut your mouth. I've made a lot of IRL friends and online friends in the process too, so I mean silver lining. Absolutely. I mean, like, if a goal gives you so much more variety, then that's a good thing, because you aren't just hyper-focused on one thing. You end up expanding your value onto everything in the universe. You know, and to closer, like, the more you're able to expand your love into more things in the universe, the more invincible you become, because nothing is an enemy anymore. You have less and less enemies, you have less and less challenges, you have less and less things that you hate, because you love more and more things. And if you end up somehow loving everything, then you become fucking invincible. You become a god. It'll be like the psychological equivalent of being a rock in space, attracting smaller rocks until you become a planet. You know? Or I mean, to make it more beautiful, you could become a star. It'll be the equivalent of a small star drawing in all of that energy from a nebula nearby or something, and until you become a star in a solar system, and you just end up vibing, and you can't have any enemies because you are the fucking solar system. You might think about other solar systems though, so that I don't know. What the fuck is a conscience? Well, it's kind of undefinable, which is why everything has a conscience. You know? Everything, even rocks, they just have a different pace. They just have a completely different pace. And that's just conscience. Since conscience is undefinable, you can literally say anything has a consciousness. I am noticing things because I exist. There is not a special tool in my head that is like acknowledging the universe There are special tools in my head that help me perceive the universe in a certain way, but the acknowledgement, the witness behind all of this, there's no tool for that. There's nothing that scientists point to and be like, that here is the consciousness gizmo. You know, it's just an emptiness. And we're taking it in. We are either taking it in or we're blocking it out. And that's the polarity of how the universe works, is that you either exist or you don't exist. You either, black or white, light or dark, cold or hot. You're either one or the other. You're either taking in the universe as it is around you, or you are blocking it out. And if you are taking the universe in more often, then you are living life in a much more calm and present and durable way. Since last weekend, I really get the connection stuff. Seeing stuff with the hard black outline really makes me feel a part of the world. I really understand being content with random death occurring. Yeah, I mean, obviously you're not trying to anticipate death, but you are simply vibing. It's amazing when people realize and acknowledge things they're addicted to. The next would be to do something about it when they feel comfortable taking the next step. Yeah, it's really a good step to begin with, to acknowledge it. But there's some crazy stuff to think about, because at the same time, it's not healthy to always be chill. Sometimes you have to feel bad things, or we become numb to the good stuff. Yeah, I mean, we are going to end up feeling bad things anyway. It's unhealthy to pretend to be chill when you're not. Maybe there's a better way to put that. It's unhealthy to force chillness, because you can't force chillness. It's unhealthy to force anything, Whatever happens, you just accept that it happens, and then everything will fall into place. Why do a bunch of dead things come together and decide to become a living thing? And why some things decide that they know they're a thing and wants to keep being a thing, right? It's a really great way of putting it. One of my favorite lines in the newest Blade Runner is, before we even know what life is, we are so afraid to lose it. I really like that one. I had to check if this was a philosophical channel or not. Then I remembered this was an SCP animation channel. It'd be like that, expect the unexpected. I think a good way to explain it, if you ever see The Good Place on Netflix, at the end of the day, they all go to the good place where you can have and do anything you want at any time, but after eons oh no, spoilers, but I can't see anything. How can I overcome being afraid to talk to strangers? Acknowledge that they're just as scared. That's always a really encouraging thing that I think of. Acknowledge that if they are sincerely bothered by you just being yourself, then they probably don't have a very exciting life. If they're so cringe, at you. If somebody is calling you cringe, then their life is boring. They don't have enough interactions throughout their day for them to seriously only remember that one cringy moment. That's another way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it is that person is you, and anything they project onto you is simply a projection from their own experiences and not an accurate assessment of who you are and your value. Acknowledge that feeling of feeling that you need people to like you is a completely natural feeling that evolved early on in our social groups, because we needed to be in social groups to survive. But nowadays we don't need to be in everybody's social group to survive. We could just choose which group we want to be in. And simply doing the act of talking to somebody despite feeling that fear and not egging on that fear by thinking about it is the best thing to do. Don't think. Have a good night. Catch you later. See you, Kyle. You have a good night. dumb as it sounds, whenever people talked about the vibe test, I always felt like I wouldn't succeed or fail. For the first time in like 10 years, I really feel like myself and that I am vibing. Hell yeah. I'm so happy for you, man. Life is something we want to keep because we don't know what's on the other side, or if there is even another side and we just cease to exist. It's scary. Well, I'll tell you what's on the other side. It's what happens when you calm down. When you calm down so much that things aren't moving so much, that's just it. The stillness, the calmness, the peace. And people who are anxious, people who are like, addicted to caffeine, just like high octane, constantly trying to distract themselves with things because they don't like that feeling of stillness. Those are the people who associate it with dying. They call it death. But, if you're a calm enough person, you can see it for what it really is, which is just stillness, which is the all, everything. It's all of the space between the objects, it's the thing that binds the universe together. It's space, it's antimatter, it's the allness, as they call it in the Kabbalion. It's the organism that we call the universe, just changing. When you die, you simply change into a different part of the universe, or different parts of the universe. But you were always different parts. You were never one thing. You were never a single thing that is then turning into a bunch of plants in the ground after they bury you. You were always a bunch of things. You were always a bunch of cells, a bunch of organs, a bunch of bones. Even your brain is made up of a bunch of things. You aren't one thing. It's just grammatically we say, I am this, I am here, I am this person. It's just grammar, it's not rules, it's not how the universe works. It's how we talk to people, it's how we want the universe to work, through this grammar. Do you believe that every consciousness is somehow connected as or in a greater thing, or does every individual exist for and by itself? Both of those things are true, because one is perspective and one is reality. And both they're still different realities, but they coexist, just like when you're focusing on a different thing, watching the same movie. So to a thief, when they look at a saint, all they see are pockets. It's about your perspective, and your reality is created based on your perspective. What you decide to focus on throughout the day becomes your day. It's all up to you. It's all up to what you decide to focus on. And if you focus on negativity, of course, you're going to have a negative life. As much as the universe goes outwards infinitely, it goes equally inward just the same. Yeah, absolutely. Rest in peace, Moist Man. Stop begging for a new episode, it won't help. He's doing his best, and we'll get what we want to get it. He spends time in his day to connect to his fans, so give him the man some space, okay? I appreciate that, the guy with no name 6. You don't have to defend me, but I appreciate that. This is beyond my comprehension. It's okay. I'm wording it in a way that, sounds good to me. Because at this moment, I get it. I'm not going to say, I get it always, because sometimes throughout the day I just forget it, and then I'm lost, I'm lost in this space of, thinking that I need to think, and convinced that I need to think my way out of it, and then I remember, oh, wait, and then I stop thinking, and then it's silent, and I'm listening to everything, and it's like I don't exist, and it's like I am everything, I stopped overcomplicating this a long time ago. We just overcomplicated carbon atoms. Yeah, I mean, we just create these measurements and these messages. We just create these separations. We create these measurements, Like the universe is just flowing energy, and then we separate it into things that we call atoms, and molecules, and meters, and, all of these little categories because we think it makes sense. And then we focus on the categories. We focus on the separation rather than what is. We focus on what we want it to be rather than what is, and that's why we get disappointed all the time. Because the more we look into reality, the more we zoom into reality, we end up cutting things up even more. We go, oh, what? There's something even smaller than an atom? Interesting. But all you're doing is cutting it up. You're just cutting it into smaller pieces and being like, yes, now it makes sense. You know? You could just look at a mountain and accept it as a mountain. Instead, some people look at a mountain and go, yeah, that's like 120 miles tall or whatever. I don't know. Like, it's just, it only makes sense to some people if they separate it into categories. And don't get me wrong, it's useful to explain to other people what things are using categories, but what's the point of explaining it to yourself, you know? Do you agree with the idea that the universe gets bigger and older, its weight starts shrinking, and it backs into itself when the universe is focused into a single point, it releases into a big bang? Sounds like what you're talking about is like the big crunch where it just, and it just kind of repeats over and over again. Yeah, I think so, possibly. We're just cells with anxiety. A person who thinks all the time has nothing to think about except thoughts, so they lose touch with reality. That was by Alan Watts. That's why I did the voice. I love Alan Watts. It's a very good saying. A person who thinks all the time has nothing to think about except thoughts, so they lose touch with reality. It's an addictive thing to get lost in your thoughts, because you think it's real all of a sudden, you know? You really think it's real. You can divide things into infinitely smaller pieces. Yeah, you get it. It just keeps going, you know? You just keep going, and you keep cutting it, and you keep cutting it into smaller and smaller pieces, and it doesn't give you any answer. All it does is create new problems, or it just creates new things, I guess. And that's fine, there's not a problem with that, but you can't find your answers using that method. If your answer is what is the meaning to the universe, because there is none. And that's fine. You don't need to understand people you care for, you just need to be there for them, so when they are surrounded by the bad, you can help them see the good. Amen. Amen to that, Riftex. That's 100% true. One of my favorite lines from Adventure Time is, you don't need to understand somebody, you just need to respect them. And this was in reference to somebody who had a mental illness in the show, or somebody who was different, somebody who was neurodivergent. It was like an analogy for somebody who was neurodivergent. I said, you don't need to understand them, you just need to respect them. And that's true, because when people say, well, you need to explain it to me before I understand it, or before I accept them, it's like, well, to what degree, what answer would you accept, though? You're already starting off by saying, I'm not going to accept certain things. Okay. That's no good. So that means if the truth is contrary to your idea of what an acceptable truth is, then you will choose not to accept them. Which means you are, to a large degree, intolerant. Alright, good night, Bongo the goose. You know, whenever I get lost in thoughts, it never ends well. Usually I think about my mistakes, where I stand from the decisions I've made, and how it affects me. Yeah, see, getting lost in your thoughts never ends well. Sometimes it could be fun, but it might only be fun because you've just narrowly escaped, you know, ending up in a very dark, terrible place. Or it's only really good if you know how to get out of it, if you know how to pull out of your thoughts. Concepts can be divided into parts to a degree, but divide it enough and the parts lose perspective. Yeah, absolutely. It's all perspective by the end of the day. You zoom in and you zoom out, and the reality changes around you in such a profound way. I've been staring at this blue image, and I swear to God, it starts moving 3 times. I think I'm tripping. It's designed to. Don't worry. That's how I drew it. It's meant to give you this illusion of depth and motion, because it's just flames going outwards. first time watching a stream. I adore your work. I show confinement to anyone cool I meet. Thank you, Kitty Malloy. Bung seems to have his worldview together. I'm glad. Thank you. I like to talk about it. I like to see other people's views. You know. I try to separate myself from the world before getting lost in thought. Helps with creative innovation and all sorts. Otherwise, you would just be stuck thinking about your own experiences. Yeah, that's like fantasizing, right? Like you just you sort of don't get lost in your own thought in terms of your identity. You just create a separate, contained fantasy world, and you don't take it too seriously. That's the best, in my opinion. That's the best reason for thinking, is to just go into fantasy and be creative when you're in a blank page. Because it's only a problem if you're just thinking about yourself in a positive way, and suddenly negative thoughts come in, and it's like, well, now I feel like shit because I was thinking of myself when the negative thoughts came in, and now they've combined, and my thoughts are convincing me that they're connected in some profound way, which they aren't. You know, your brain is just a random memory machine, and if you are thinking about yourself when you feel like shit, then you are going to think you are shit. That's as simple as that. It's just a pot of words just being stirred around. What's your favorite Kermit movie? The Christmas Carol movie. 100%. Seeing Kermit in poverty is... Seeing someone else's view can be refreshing. I could try to understand how someone else thinks and maybe how I could incorporate it into my own life and see how it would go. Absolutely, that's the way to do it. That's the brave way and the accepting way and the tolerant way. What's your opinion on escapism? As long as you acknowledge that it is just a temporary fantasy, then go ahead. If you can trust yourself to acknowledge that, then go ahead. But it's all part of your journey, you know, only you can tell when you're addicted to something. Well, it's not true. But only you can accept when you are addicted to something. I'm somehow almost always in my thoughts, so I'm basically a mindless meatbag. Well, here's a great technique, in my opinion, is to think of your thoughts in the same way you think of your breathing. Your thoughts are always happening to begin with. They're always happening anyway. You are always thinking whether you like it or not. Oh, thank you for the $2. Spend it all in one place. Thank you, Callum. The issue is that you're already thinking anyway. You are simply just tuning into that thinking. In the same way when you're breathing and then I say, you are now manually breathing, and you tune into your breathing and you feel like you're in control of it. It's the same with your thoughts. It's the exact same thing. You can tune into your thoughts or you can tune into your breathing. It doesn't matter. Your thinking is already happening. So knowing that, you can just tune into anything you want. You can tune into your thoughts if you like. You could tune into looking at what's right in front of you. You could tune into the activities you are doing today. And if you want to keep yourself distracted, then you just do things and tune into the thing you are doing. You know? If you're doing the laundry, then just really tune into that laundry. Think of nothing but the laundry that's going on right now. Don't think of anything at all. Just focus on what you are doing. And, yeah. Your day will go by pretty fast. Puberty Kermit. I'm not sure I think Kermit's already gone through puberty. Sexy nasal spray. What do you do when you hate yourself, though? Well, you don't hate yourself. You hate aspects that you have associated with yourself. Oh, hey, Philippine money from the Philippine man. Maraming salamat, dreams, for the 50 pesos. Well, You hate things about you that you consider problems. You hate things in approximation to you, maybe even parts of your body that you consider problems, that you consider bad. But deep down, what you are is the awareness of everything. And you rely on that to hate yourself. So how can you trust your own judgment? I mean, if you hate yourself, but trust your own judgment to decide what is worth hating, then how can you actually hate yourself? I know that sounds like I'm just trying to do wordplay here, but the issue is that yourself is not the thing that you hate. What you actually are is the awareness of everything. The awareness of your thoughts, the awareness of your emotions, the awareness of your physical sensations. Your awareness of that thing is what you are. The act of being aware is what you are. You are not the things that you are looking at and judging. You are not even the judgment. You are the thing that acknowledges the judgment. You are the thing that acknowledges the things that you hate. That's what you are. First time in the chat, but I really enjoy the way you write and animate. It brings my hope back to amateur animation, relates to your thought process also. Thank you for the £5, Benji 10 bag. Bung has almost 1 million subs. Also Bung streams at 3 a.m. and has 80 people watching. 8 a.m. for you. Filipino Pog. What do you think is the biggest threat to happiness? I mean, it's really contextual. I don't think I have a single thing that could be a threat to happiness. I mean, I think the biggest thing, if I would say, is an addiction to happiness. And that's a weird thing to say, but like, if you're obsessed with looking for happiness, you're never gonna find it. I think that's something very important to acknowledge. If you are looking so desperately for happiness, you're never gonna be satisfied, because you're gonna run out every time you find the thing that you think makes you happy. And until you realize, hopefully, that happiness is something that is already in you. You just need to tap into it. And it doesn't matter what the object is that brings it out of you. That's just an object. It doesn't have any inherent meaning. And that includes people. People do not have the magic of, like, they do not give you the magic love feeling. They simply exist, and you project love onto them, and then you're like, holy shit, they're making me feel this way. No, you are making you feel this way. You know? I disagree. You're not only what you experience, but your actions, past and present. You are what you do. Well, you are also that. As I was saying earlier, you are everything. But what you truly are, deep down, if you want to go deep down, if you want to believe there is a deep down you, is the nothingness inside of you that makes up your awareness. In reality, you are everything. You are everything that you love and hate in this universe. You are everything you feel neutral towards, because you cannot be defined in a vacuum. You are not in a vacuum. You exist in relation to everything around you affecting you, and everything around that affecting it, you know? You are the oxygen you breathe and the oxygen that you exhale. You are the clothes that you wear, as well as you. Everything that it has ever happened to you has defined your life, so therefore everything is you. And you are everything. There is no identity. There is no... I already went on this rant. I'm just trying to make it all clear to that guy. You did not go pee once in this stream. Oh, thank you for congratulating me on that. I didn't even notice. Moist man. Are you what you think you are, or what others think? Apparently it's a combo of three. What you think of what I think of myself, what you think, what I think you think. It's, well, I mean, it's all of those things. Any of it can be you. But that's because people keep looking. People seem to think it's important to know what they are. And having an obsession with that is an issue, because you end up feeling disappointed either way. But that's because there is no you. It isn't real. There is no such thing as you. And people who are obsessed with trying to find out who they are will always be disappointed because the reality is there is no you. And that's fine. That's fine. We're all just pretending, and it's fine. We're all pretending that everything is separated into these categories and that these categories work, even though quite often contextually they don't. And they don't explain everything. And that's okay. You just deal with what is happening. I don't think exactly that everything is you, but you are a part of everything. Well, both is true. I mean, if you are a part of everything, then the line that you draw between you and the rest of the universe is arbitrary. Because you are... It'll be like if you look at a music sheet and then somebody was like, I am not a part of music. One of the notes was like, I am not a part of this music. I am a note. I am a note. But the note is part of the music. In which case, the definition of you is pointless. It only works to serve grammar and certain actions. And if you want to be somewhere else aggressively, if you just calm down and just accept where you are, then you are simply part of the universe. Become one with the universe, you know? I suppose the difference there is mostly language, lol. Yeah, but language sort of skews it all to begin with. Like, language is saying that we are individuals. In reality, things are just happening. In reality, everything just is. And that is the only truth. Everything is the way it is. There is no individual. And at the same time, there is individual. Because we pretend that there's an individual. And so because we live this game of pretend, then it becomes real. I've obsessed over myself and have always felt inadequate and disappointed. I struggle with this idea of essentially getting over myself. Okay. Right. Well, there's nothing wrong with having expectations for yourself. But getting attached to them too much is definitely what causes the disappointment and the feeling of inadequacy. I'm sorry that you are feeling that way, though. I definitely feel that way sometimes. I used to feel like that way, like, pretty much all the time. Yeah, it's a really shitty feeling. So, you know, how do you confront that? How do you accept it? Well, you may have expectations for yourself, but don't take those expectations too seriously. If you fail those expectations, that's okay. You should be able to forgive yourself 1,000,000 times. 1,000,000 times. Just keep failing. That's fine. You can fail over and over and over again. Be patient, forgive yourself. And it'll be a win-win, because even if you don't get it right, you still don't hate yourself. Do you agree more with the GOC or the SCP Foundation? I mean, I'm choosing between, like, the lesser of two evils, but yeah, the SCP Foundation. Streamlord Bong, that's me. Wow, look at that comment. You've been doing a lot of streaming and not a lot of animation. Remember why we're all here, buddy. Wow. Insane. Okay, you don't know how much animation I've been doing, actually. So, you know, very presuming of you. I hope you have a good day, though. What is this way of think called in philosophy? There are lots of think. There are lots of thinks. It could be Taoism. It could be Zen, Buddhism. It could be mindfulness. It could be Hermetic magic. There are lots of cultures who have already figured this out thousands of years ago. And now that we are progressing into this industrial free market capitalism, this whole idea of constantly needing to improve yourself through material needs, we are moving away from that. And, well, it hurts. It hurts us. We're in so much pain because of it, I think, you know, because we feel inadequate, because we identify with our utility, with our ability to produce, rather than just loving ourselves for existing, you know. Are you familiar with the Velociraptor meme? It's a very old one, but it checks out, so. What does that giant blue drawing on the screen represent? It's hella trippy. I mean, it doesn't necessarily represent anything, but it is a reference to classical biblical angels. At least the way Dante Alighieri describes them in his Divine Comedy. I wish I was just rich enough to buy a boat. That's it. Just a boat and I'll be a happy girl. Just a boat. And that's it. Nothing after that. Do you think we lost something along the way, or do we need to reconfigure philosophy to fit our unnatural world? I mean, as a part of my philosophy, I don't think we need to do anything. I think this feeling of needing, of like really, really, really wanting, of feeling like things have to be something or else it'll break down and just not work and we'll all die. Like, I think that is the problem. When we convince ourselves that we need to do things, or that we have to, or that we have to be in this constant state of running, you know, to get somewhere. It's the difference between, like, my therapist gave me this cool example, my ex-therapist, I guess. Like, you have these two kids who just got back from Disneyland or whatever, and they're in the back seat of a car, and then the car's driving home. And the entire time, one of the kids is complaining. He's like, "When are we getting there? When are we? I want to be there already. Are we there yet?" You know. And then the other kid is just like watching the road, watching the, you know, the plants and the houses drive by, watching all the other cars, just quietly content with everything that's going on. And my philosophy is the second kid. Is that. Is taking things one at a time, which is what Zen is about accepting things for what they are, about simply being in the moment, being present, and everything falls together. When you do that, everything kind of works. Everything kind of works out. At least for me. My God, these questions, yeah. you're telling me. It was a Divine Comedy about 7 layers of hell or something. I think it was 9. But yeah, it's the same idea. That's one of the 3 stories in the Divine Comedy. Poems, rather. Do you ever feel like wanting to be a cow? Sometimes. Do you think a shift from capitalism would also minimize our meritocracy? Do you think the pros of meritocracy outweigh the cons? I don't think capitalism and meritocracy are synonymous with each other. I think the system is kind of rigged to how things were before the shift to begin with. So there was always going to be a preference for how things were set up to begin with. You know, technology advances and we have all these new opportunities for people, but the system doesn't exactly advance at the same speed as the technology that gives us all of these advantages. So, you know, you could still have access to good internet, but if you still live in a bad neighborhood because of some racial historical issues, and you can't get to a university near you because of you were in a red line neighborhood, for example, where the universities just aren't as good, then, you know, Um, it doesn't work out. I wish Dunstan checked into my life. God, I just want to have a primate friend and we would be so cool together. They would teach you so much. Your voice broke. Did it? Okay. Lions, though. What is your accent? I don't know. It's supposed to be Australian, but it's trying. It's trying. I'm starting to think you are the reincarnation of Uguay. Yeah, Uguay is an interesting character. He's quite based. Serpent's Hand or Foundation? Serpent's Hand all the way. I'm sorry. How would you visualize self-reflection, Mr. Bond? Oh, okay. How would I visualize that? Interesting. Simply facing it, and maybe you could visualize that by just having an image of a person looking at the problem. You could do it like in a comic style where you have the person looking at a monster and it just says like whatever the truth is. It's difficult though because you kind of have to figure out what it is you need to face to begin with, and sometimes it's obvious and we think that there are rules to it, you know, like we think that we just have to face it once and then it's gone forever. No, it goes away in the moment, but it comes back later, and it'll always come back later until it doesn't. And you have to be infinitely forgiving. You have to be infinitely calm and patient about it. You face your problems, then they go away, they come back, and you just keep going back and forth until it's gone. The only reason it's going to stay is if you react strongly to it and try to keep it around as a form of you think it might define you. For example, you feel like it needs to define you. Like, I'm the guy with this problem, or maybe you just want to lay down and rest, so you use it as an excuse to be depressed. Not saying that depression is an excuse. I mean, like, people use things. People use thoughts and memories. And because they're attached to these emotions, and these emotions we feel like we can't control, so we try and push them away. And because we try to push them away, they stay around longer. It's just learning out how to use the remote up here. It's rough. He painted his nails black. He painted his nails black. Thank you for pointing it out. Erectile dysfunction is fun. Thank you. Depression animations. I've been here since the stream started. Why am I here? Why is why? There you go. Alright, I'm gonna be ending pretty soon. Emo bung. No, half my nails are white, so I'm only half emo, I guess. Alright, I'll be ending the stream now. This has been pretty chill. Just talking, just vibing out. Yeah. See you guys on Sunday. Hare Krishna.